stay on the consumer for the moment. When you look at creating your customer experiences, do you put yourself at the center in order to judge its value? And I wonder, what's important to the experience you want to create for your customers?
I completely look at it from experiencing it myself. I mean, most of the businesses we've started have been as a result of myself personally having a bad experience. So, I was, 21 years ago, ran a record company that had offices all over the world, and I had to fly on other people's airlines to get to those offices, and I'd have a bit of chicken if I was lucky dumped on my lap. That no entertainment system, grumpy stewards and stewardesses who obviously weren't proud of what the job that they were doing and the materials they'd been given, and so decided to give it a go, and rang up Boeing and said, "Hello, this is Richard Branson. I'm the guy that brought you the Sex Pistols. I've got a great brand called Virgin. Any chance of you letting me have a second-hand 747?" And there was a long pause at the other end, and they said, "What did you say the name of the brand was?" And I said, "Virgin." And they said, "Well, we might give you a go as long as you promise to go further than your name suggests." So it's very much personal experience, and then I think a good company is the best. If you go into a restaurant the owner owns the restaurant, every single little detail is right because the owner's there and generally there all the time, and he makes sure every little detail's right. If you're somebody who runs an airline, equally you've got to treat it as if you're the owner of a small restaurant. You've got to make sure that every single little detail's right. Even to the extent, something which Virgin, we did at Virgin was we found that these beautiful little pepper pots and salt pots were being stolen because they were so nice. So we put underneath them pinched from Virgin Atlantic, so that when people took them home at the dinner parties, they would, after about using them a while, they'd suddenly look underneath, and at least we got some advertising out of it, and gave people a smile.
Right.
So detail's important.
Let's talk about philanthropy for the moment. Obviously, you've done considerable charity work globally and continue to do so. I'd be interested to hear your perspective on how technology can play a greater role in humanity's greatest challenges, whether that be global environmental challenges, whether it be cures for diseases. I'm interested in your perspective.
Technology can definitely play a part in combating global warming, and global warming is going to make the problems of Africa, India, and other parts of the world, far worse than they are today. Technology can come up with much better windmills. They can come up with incredible solar panels that can really utilize the sun. They can come up with fantastic wave power, and they'll come up with ideas that we haven't even conceived of today. They'll hopefully be able to turn ethanol into butanol, so it's 20% more powerful, and so on. So I think technology can play a big role in that. Technology, I think, also can play a role in in coordinating the. If you take Africa, there's something like 100,000 different voluntary organisations working in Africa, and yet there's no coordination.
Right.
And we've been, we're setting up something called the War Room in Africa, which will try to help coordinate all these various organisations, look for best practices, and technology is going to play a major role in that war room.
Let's talk about the internet for a moment. Obviously, you're involved in the internet in a range of your businesses, but I wonder how much attention you pay to these new social communities spawning up, the birth of social networking, and some of these really interesting developments that are creating new revenue channels for business, and indeed new business models. I wonder how important the web is to you and your businesses.
It's, I think the web has become critical to, I think, most businesses now. And if you're not on the web, your business is unlikely to survive. I've got a friend's wedding coming up, and I want to. This couple are going to kite surf off the beach after they got married. I'm looking for a remote control shark to frighten the living daylights out of them at the moment, and I finally found a suitable jaws on the web. So
with remote control, like a big one.
A big one.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Is it like, I think, a Universal on the side of it, right?
So there are important things like that the web can be very useful
They're
for.
the best technologies.
The best technologies.
The best experiences. If we extend out over the next 5 to 10 years, I wonder what your major interest areas are and where you might invest next.
Well, I think that the main, our main areas for Virgin, I mean, there's quite a lot of different areas, but the big areas is in clean fuels,
right.
And trying to come up with a major breakthrough there. It's in taking people into space. It's going to be building the best airline in America, which is not very difficult to do.
No.
And with Virgin America, and expanding that really quickly because people seem to love it. Maybe moving airlines like that into places like Russia that don't have decent airlines. He's doing a lot more investment in Africa, and not just charitable investment, but investing in companies in Africa. I mean, the Nigerian government asked us to set up an airline in Africa, Virgin Nigeria, for West Africa, which we've done, and expanding on that. And then, where we see places in the world where consumers getting ripped off, then Virgin will go and try to turn industries on its head. And I've just come back from Canada. Consumers are not happy with their financial service companies there, so we might give it a go. We've got sort of various criteria for deciding to go into things, but one of them is that we must have a lot of fun doing it, and so financial services may not sound like fun, but we think we can make it fun if you do it in the right sort of way.
This is a good segue into the final question. Obviously, you're involved with so much, but what's exciting you right now? What's that one thing?
I'm excited by just playing my bit and trying to make the world a better place. We myself and Peter Gabriel have been involved in setting up an organisation called the Elders, and Nelson Mandela has chosen the first 12 elders, and they're 12 incredible people, have got enormous moral authority, tremendous respect around the world, who are going to attempt to get in there and make sure that future conflicts that may be brewing don't happen, and also get involved in trying their best to stop conflicts that have already started to happen. And I'm very hopeful that people with that kind of authority have got a real good chance of sort of banging heads together and making sure that that conflicts can be resolved from clever diplomacy rather than from war.
Richard, thank you so much for doing this video interview. I look forward to seeing you next year.
Thank you. Cheers. Thank you very much.